Alright, how are we all? I'm just going to give you a quick update tonight because I'm not actually doing any work on the car tonight, but I want to talk about the camera setup I was using. Forgive me for using this tablet again, which is annoying because it keeps zooming in and out and focusing and what have you. So this was the GoPro that I was using for all my previous videos, the session 4. And for whatever reason, it just it's been giving up the ghost. Comes up and says no SD card, even though there isn't one in it. So I've purchased this thing. It's an Ape Man. I think I've kind of got the wrong one. This is the A77 and I think I wanted the A80. Anyway, this was 40 quid and it's arrived. So the good thing about it is that I can use it on this tripod thing. It came with an accessory which mounts onto the tripod. So hopefully we can do a bit more, let's say, time-lapse footage for you. We'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to use it now to give you a little bit of an update, because obviously I've been doing a few things off camera whilst I was waiting for this to arrive. So I'll just give you a bit of a rundown of the things that we have done. And I'll use this and I'll see how good it is or how not good it is. And yeah, so I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown using that and we'll see how good it is.
So the first thing to update you all on is what's been happening underneath the back section of the car. So we last left it where I was seam sealing all the seams, and I was applying the Gravitex. So that went on really nice, and the Gravitex is a really good primer surface as well, so you can just paint straight onto it. So this paint that I used, the red, is actually the cheapest gloss red I could find on eBay. So it doesn't colour match the car, and I really don't care about that because, let's face it, we're underneath the car at this point. So 20 miles down the road, this is going to be covered in grime anyway. So yeah, I painted it in red and then I glossed over it with some high coat high gloss lacquer. So a couple of covers with the lacquer, and this is how it's turned out. So I don't know if you can see it on camera, it's a little bit of an orangey red, which isn't ideal of course, but like I say, not too fussed, and it's come out alright. I'm not, it's not going to be the best paint job in the world with rattle cans and stuff, but it's come out alright. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's going to keep off any further rust for a good number of years. You can see how it looks there going to the back. So yeah, not too bad, and this means that we can now move on to other jobs and hopefully get on with rebuilding this rear axle. Now the one thing that I am moving on to next is this center section, because to mount the rear beam nicely, I want to have the center exhaust section back in, which I have ordered. It's not here yet. And I want the handbrake cable back in and the exhaust shield, and then I can rebuild the rear axle over here, because the exhaust, the center section of the exhaust comes up here and it curves over the rear axle, like somewhere over here. So if I put the beam in and then try and put the exhaust pipe over it, I'm going to scratch off the paint on the beam as I do it. So I want to get the center section done to how I want it doing. Now the question is, what am I going to do with this center section, because it's covered in thick wax oil and it's a good coat, and as you can see, it's protected the car very well. Now what I did earlier today was I brush washed this side of the center section, and it's come up okay. There's probably a bit I could do better over there, but you can see the fuel lines are looking good. There's no rust under here or anything, So a wash and a brush down is probably as much as I'm going to do in this whole centre section. There are a couple of patches down there where the underseal has come away from the chassis leg. I don't know if you can see it, but I am going to Gravitex over that bit to protect it. But a general wash and a clean under here is about as far I think I'm going to go with the centre section, because there's no rust under here. There's no need to treat any of the surface because it's very well treated from the factory. So there you go. The centre section will be fairly quick then to progress. So a wash down and a touch up of the Gravitex underseal where it's needed. And you can see here, for example, this should be a stud which holds the exhaust shield on. And as you can see, they rust and corrode and they just snap off. So what I'm going to have to do is probably re-drill a hole near it, tap it and put some studs in so that there'll be a stud sticking out. So I'm going to do that job and rebuild the clean up the centre section. I haven't done this side yet, so that'll be the next job on that. Okay, I'll move on to the next thing we've done as well. So this filler neck was just in primer, and I had rubbed it all back to try and fit the filler neck insert, which I'm still progressing. I'm not happy with that filler neck yet, but I'll be doing that next as well. But I just put this back into a red paint. Now, I don't know if you can see again, but that paint that I've used there is the touch-up paint from High Coat, the Vauxhall Flame Red. Now in daylight it looks fine, but again with this light on it, it looks a little bit orange. So it doesn't quite, it doesn't match the outside of the car. Again, am I really that fussed? No, it's just a filler neck. But there you go, it's in paint. So it's not gonna, the primer's not gonna soak up water, whatever. It's in paint and it's not coming to any harm at the moment. So that's another little job I'd done. Now in this rear arch, on the driver's side rear arch, there was some surface rust on this hole, and I'd wire brushed it back, and as I did, I wire brushed all the seam seal around this plate. And I was wondering whether this plate was original or not, because it looks a little bit rough and ready. It's got these spot welds along the top and side, and it just looks like a little bit of an add-on. So I didn't post on Facebook. I said, guys, is this an original plate or not? And there was some discussion. Some said it's a poor repair, and some said no, that's exactly how it comes from the factory. So I was umming and ahhing, thinking, well, okay, maybe it needs a little bit of work later on. So I'll go and have a look at the other side, and if we go and have a look at the other side, you'll see that the plate is exactly the same. It's got the same spot welds along the top of the plate and the side, and it looks exactly the same part. Even the side tacking welds are in the same place. So I'm pretty confident that these plates were installed like that from the factory. Now why has this one got a big gaping hole in it? Well, the rust on this hole was much worse, and so once I'd wire brushed it down, I was left with like a 2-inch round hole, and so I wanted to make sure that I'd got rid of that rust completely, so I've cut it all out. Now obviously I do need to put a plate back in there, weld something back across that. I haven't got access to a welder right now, as I've probably mentioned before, but when I do, I shall just tack something back in there and get that back to being solid again. But I'm happy that these plates are factory installed. There's no need to mess around with any of the welding of these actual plates. I just want to repair that back up again, of course. So I'm not going to have a chance to weld this with the Corona stuff. I'm not able to get hold of tools and stuff, and not a lot of equipment. So the next job will be to deal with the arches in here as well. You can see that they're not particularly clean. I have tried to wash this, but they need a bit more attention. But the main aim is to you know, seam seal wherever I need some new seam seal, like there, it's coming away. So I need to brush that down, seal it again. Maybe get another Gravitex coat across here, another coat of the red and the gloss, and then we can call the arches done as well. Last but no means least, I have wire brushed under the sill to get rid of the surface rust, and that is in chassis paint. And again, I will either leave that in the black, I might cover it in red, I don't know yet. But that was just another little job ticked off the list. So there are things progressing, not as fast as we would like, obviously, but yeah, reasonably happy. You can get a view from this side underneath there of the paint, looking nice and shiny and clean. So that's, I'm happy with that bit. The rest of it is coming along as and when I get a chance. This is my boot, which is where I keep all the tools and stuff. A bit of a mess in there, but it's a good storage area. So yeah, things are going on. I do wish that you all stay safe, stay indoors, follow the advice. We'll get through this together and come out the other side. But for now, as a test of this little camera, hopefully it's come out alright, we shall see in a minute. So that was a quick update. I shall love you and leave you for now. Take care, guys. Well, here we are back under the car again, and I'm working in the passenger side rear arch, discovering what's behind any of the seam sealer, and this is what we've got to. So I'm just going to try and cut away that patch, ready to weld something back in. So yeah, going okay, could have been worse, but that'll do. And then underneath here, just getting rid of some of the paintwork off the sill. Well, that's the aftermath of my little grinding session. It looks reasonably clean underneath. All I'm doing is cutting it out, and obviously I'm going to have to weld. I may even, you know, all of this spot welding here, probably be a good idea to drill them out and get this plate off and get a new plate in. So I need to investigate whether or not that's possible, whether I can get a new plate that'll just slot in there, or just make one. But for now I just want to see what's behind it. And this little cheeky monkey is always pestering me about what I'm doing. And so anyway, it's looking reasonable for now. I'm just going to get some paint on this areas so it doesn't rust anymore. And I will come up with a solution for this area eventually. But yeah, bit of progress this morning.